Lamb tail, so tender.
We were heading into the Ordos Desert, but first came lunch. We drove by the Ordos Bronze Cultural Square seen at the end of the last video. It's incredible how green and clean Ordos is. The same is true for Hohhot and Baotou, but Ordos particularly so because the city is surrounded by the Ordos Desert, which is bounded to the north by the Yellow River, which is abundant in fish like carps, which are especially tasty in early spring when the river has just thawed. Carps caught during this period are called kaiheyu, or literally fish of the recently opened river, which have been treasured since ancient times. Our trip to Ordos took place in June, and the river opened long before that, so no kaiheyu was available. But looking for the kaiheyu led me to another fish dish also prized since ancient times. 鱼羊鲜, fish cooked with lamb.
Lamb and fish hot pot. I bet you didn't see that coming.
This dish, or I should say this type of dish, may be prepared in a variety of ways, like hot pot here. But one thing never changes. That is the seemingly odd pairing of fish with lamb, but this might be some sort of ancient wisdom. The dish name 鱼羊鲜 says it all. The character xian may be variously interpreted as umami, freshness, succulence, etc. depending on the context. It is comprised of two components, yu meaning fish and yang meaning sheep or goat. The character was created as such because in the minds of ancient Chinese, fish and lamb make a delicious duo teeming with umami, succulence, etc. One story attributes the creation of the xian character to Confucius, when his disciples prepared such a dish for the sage. Yu Yangxian is not really linked to this part of the country, but since lamb is so good here, that's like winning half the battle. Numerous cuts of lamb were utilized, like these vertebrae reminiscent of those seen in a previous video. Our main ingredients found in Yang Xiezi lamb spine hot pot. Follow the vertebrae down the spinal column and what do you get?
Lamb tail, so tender.
This is lamb tail with meat still attached. The innermost strings of meat were tricky to get to, but the rest peeled off easier than string cheese. So it took no time to reduce that to this. There were also lots of lamb shanks, and their collagen and marrow definitely enriched the soup. This bone broth really enhanced the flavor and feel of the fish. Ingredients used here was not carp, and the server only know of this fish by its local name 大嘴鱼. I couldn't find more info about it, so I have no exact idea of what we ate, but it did live up to the succulence definition of xian when combined with the lamb. Thus, even though most of the lamb weren't big chunks of meat as I usually prefer, the hot pot as a whole was delectable.
Oh yeah, I sucked that clean.
Oh yeah, I cleaned that pipe. You know what I mean. Now, as much as I revel in rich and creamy marrow, I still wanted something substantive. That something was 烤腰包腰子, literally grilled lamb kidneys wrapped in fat. We had something similar at the Delehai Mongolian restaurant in Hohhot, but these were spiked with cumin and chili powder. Think of them as another form of bacon-wrapped pork tenderloin. Even though they didn't have the meaty mouthfeel of tenderloin, they were tenderer than tenderloin. Then time to hit the road. During our 2 days in Ordos, we didn't get to see the much newer Kangbashi district, but here in Dongsheng district, we were amazed by the cityscape. It's far from the ghost town and wasteland sometimes portrayed. Streets were full of people cheery about the city and ready to serenade the CPC for its 100th anniversary. Time to say goodbye to the buzzing oasis that is Ordos City and head toward one final stop on our trip, the Ordos Desert. 再见!